English chapter 23, The Two Merchants of Seri. Let us read the chapter first. Once upon a time in a place called Seri, there lived a merchant. He went from town to town, selling pots and pans and other things made of brass and tin. He travelled every day with another merchant who also sold brass and tinware. But this other man was greedy. When he sold something, he sold it at a very high price. But when he bought something, he tried to give as little as possible. Explanation. Once upon a time, in a place named Seri, there lived a merchant. See the image. Meaning of merchant: a person involved in wholesale trading or supplying goods to a particular trade. Meaning of merchant: a person involved in wholesale trading or supplying goods to a particular trade. He used to sell pots, pans and other things made up of brass and tin. I will show you the image later. Meaning of brass: yellow alloy of copper and zinc. Meaning of brass: yellow alloy of copper and zinc. Meaning of tin: a silver white metal that is a constituent of brass and it is used for coating iron and steel to protect against corrosion. Corrosion means rusting. Meaning of tin: a silver white metal that is a constituent of brass and it is used for coating iron and steel to protect against rusting or corrosion. So this merchant travelled every day for selling. He was not alone. He had a companion or a friend with him. So they were how many merchants together? They were two merchants all together. Look into the image above. Yes. Even the other merchants, that is the companion, used to sell things made up of brass and tinware. Now let us know about the nature of this other merchant. This other merchant was a very greedy man. Now meaning of greedy: showing intense and selfish desire for wealth or power. Meaning of greedy: showing intense and selfish desire for wealth or power. Whenever he sold something, he sold it at a very high price. But whenever he bought something, he tried to buy it at the cheapest or the lowest rate or at the lowest price. So students, I hope this paragraph is clear to you. Let us see the next paragraph. When the two merchants went into a town, they divided the streets between them. Each one went up and down the streets he had chosen, calling, "Tinware for sale, brass for sale." People came out to their doorsteps and bought or traded with them. Only after one merchant had finished his business on that street did the other one made his rounds there. Explanation. Whenever these two merchants went to any town, they will always divide their work. They will divide the street. It means one merchant will go and sell at a time and the other merchant will rest. They used to sell their things by saying aloud, "Tinware for sale, brass for sale." By hearing their voices, the people will come out of their houses and traded with the merchants. Now meaning of traded: buy and sell goods and services. Meaning of traded: buy and sell goods and services. After one merchant's work is done or selling is done, the another merchant goes for the round. So students, I hope this paragraph is clear to you. Let us see the next paragraph. In those days, people did not always use money to buy things. Sometimes they exchanged things of the same value. In one house, there lived a poor old woman and her granddaughter. The family had once been rich, but now the only thing they had left of all their riches was a dish made of gold. However, the grandmother did not know it was a golden dish. The dish stood on a shelf among the other pots and pans and was not often used. Now the greedy merchant passed this house, calling, "Buy my water jars, buy my pans, buy my tinware." The granddaughter said, "Oh grandmother, do buy something for me." "My dear," said the old woman, "we are too poor to buy anything. I have not anything to trade." even. Explanation. So in olden days, people were hardly using money to buy goods. Sometimes they exchanged things for the same value. In one house, there lived a poor girl with her grandmother. Once they were very rich and now they are very poor. There was a dish at their house. They never used that dish. It was kept in the shelf along with other dishes. It was a golden dish. Grandmother did not know about it. In the meantime, the greedy merchant was passing by, calling, "Buy water jars, buy pans, buy tinware." The granddaughter said to her grandma, "Grandma, please buy something for me." Grandmother replied, "My dear, we are too poor to buy anything. I have nothing to trade with that man." So students, I hope this much is clear to you. Let us see the next page. Grandmother, see, I have found this old dish among other pots and pans on the shelf. We don't ever use it. Can we trade this? Perhaps the merchant will take it and give us something nice for it. The old woman called the merchant and showed him the dish, saying, "Will you take this, sir, and give the little girl here something for it?" Explanation. The little girl pointed towards the shelf and told to her grandma that there is a dish. We don't use it oftenly. Can we sell this and buy something good for me? Maybe the merchant will give us something instead of this dish. The old man agreed and she called the merchant. She showed this dish to the greedy merchant and told him to give something in exchange for this little thing. So students, I hope this paragraph is clear to you. Let us see the next paragraph. The greedy man took the dish and scratched its sides with a needle. He came to know immediately that it was a golden dish, but he wanted to get it for nothing from the old woman. So he said, "What is this worth? Not even a copper coin." He threw the dish on the ground and went away. The crafty merchant was planning to come back after some time and buy the dish for a few copper coins, as if doing a great favor to the old lady. Explanation. The greedy man took a needle and scratched the dish from inside. Meaning of scratch, to mark the surface of something with a sharp or pointed object. Meaning of scratch, to mark the surface of something with a sharp or pointed object. He immediately understood that it was not an ordinary dish. Now he wanted to take that dish for free. Why? It was a golden dish, yes or no? He don't want to give anything in return to the old woman. So he said, "What is the use of this dish? You won't get a single copper coin for this dish." And he threw the dish on the ground and went away. He had some planning in his mind. Now what was that? He will come after some time and buy the dish for few copper coins, as if he is doing a favor, as if he is helping that old woman by buying this worthless dish. So students, I hope these paragraphs are clear to you. Let us see the next paragraph. After a while, the honest merchant finished the rounds of his streets and entered the street where the old lady lived. He passed her house calling, "Buy my water jars, buy my tinware, buy my brass." The little girl heard him and begged her grandmother to see what this merchant would give for the dish. "My child," said the grandmother, "the merchant who was just here threw the dish on the ground and went away. I have nothing else to offer in trade." "But grandmother," said the girl, "this one looks pleasant. Ask him, perhaps he will give us something for it." "Call him then and show it to him," said the old woman. Explanation. Now the honest merchant finished the rounds around the other street. He was entering into the street where the old lady lived. He started selling his pots and pans by calling, "Buy my water jars, buy my tinware, buy my brass." The little girl heard him. She asked her grandmother to call him home and show the dish. The grandmother replied, "The other merchant just threw this dish on the ground by saying this dish is worthless. Now there is nothing left at home for trading." The little girl somehow convinced her grandmother by saying, "This merchant looks good and pleasant. Let us call him. He may give us something in return for this dish." Finally, grandmother agreed and they called this honest merchant and showed him the dish. So students, I hope these paragraphs are clear to you. Let us see the next paragraph. As soon as the merchant took the dish in his hands, he knew it was of gold. Immediately he said, This is a golden dish. It is worth more than all my money and all my wares. I will bring enough money tomorrow and then buy it from you. The old woman was greatly surprised. She was impressed by the honesty and goodness of the merchant. Take this dish and give me the money tomorrow, she said. The honest merchant kept all his wares and money with the old woman and took the dish. He left himself only enough money for the boat ride that he had to take on his way back. After some time, the greedy merchant went back to the house where he had seen the golden dish and said, "Bring that dish to me and I will give you something for it." "No," said the grandmother. "You said the dish was worthless, but another honest merchant had paid a great price for it, so I gave it to him. You should not try to take advantage of the poor and needy people." What could the greedy merchant say? He paid the price for his dishonesty and greed. Explanation: as soon as the honest merchant took the dish in his hand, he understood that the dish was made up of gold. He said to them, "This is not an ordinary dish. This is a golden dish. It is very costly than all my monies I have and all my wares I have. So keep all my monies and wares with you. I will take this dish and bring money tomorrow and buy it from you." The old woman and the little girl was very much impressed and very surprised to hear this. She liked the honesty of this honest merchant. See, she said that, "Take this dish and bring the money tomorrow." Now, what the honest merchant did, he kept all his pots and pans and his money at the grandmother's house. He left her home for a boat ride. That means he went back to the boat as he came by the boat. After some time, the greedy merchant came to meet the old woman. Now, what had happened? The greedy merchant said to the old woman, "Give that dish and I will give you some copper coins." Now, the grandmother was furious. She said, "No." What did she say? She said, "No. You said this dish was worthless, but the other merchant told me that this dish was made up of gold and he will bring money for me tomorrow." At last, the old woman advised the greedy merchant, "Never take advantage of poor and needy people." The greedy merchant felt ashamed. He was speechless. He felt ashamed and he left that place. He was paid for his dishonesty and greed. So never be greedy to the needy and poor people. This we have learned from this chapter. So students, I hope you have understood this chapter well and you enjoyed seeing the images related to this chapter. Thank you.